Nigeria, and beautiful morning over to and also season greetings to everyone watching. You're tuned into Sunrise today on ANEKE TV, where every sunrise starts with delightfulness, cheer and joy. And of course, bringing you Sunrise today, I am Deborah Wakaba, coming to you live from our studio here in Vibrant Enugu.
And good morning to you, our global audience. I'm Uche Osai. Wherever you are, at home, in your office, traveling for Christmas, shopping for Christmas, or making breakfast. Thank you for letting us into your space this beautiful morning. We're here to refresh, inform, and motivate.
Yes, we are here to refresh, reform, and motivate. And of course, tomorrow is the day we've all been preparing for, which we've been going to market for, right?
Yeah, getting ready. Now, I keep telling you that
Yeah.
you're looking Christmas already, and you're
Yes,
telling me no.
my Christmas has
Is that-
started.
and look at that's a Christmas necklace, I suppose.
It's not a Christmas necklace, but,
But you're already looking
thank
Christmas.
you. But thank you.
You're looking
I'm
Christmas.
looking
already.
Christmassy. All right. Today is Wednesday, 24th December 2025, and of course, we've got a power-packed morning for you today in Sunrise on ANEKE TV. We've got that latest news, what's trending, our entertainment, from our sports oracle, and also we've also got you that special sunrise vibe that would help you start your day.
So, and after that, we'll go into the key newspaper updates that you need to remain informed, where we'll serve you the debates, informations, analysis that you need will be served hot and tasty.
Yes, and after that, we'll be starting things off with our quote of the day today. Something that is thoughtful, something inspiring, something that is going to shift our perspective and also help us stay well driven or remain focused.
And later, we'll wrap things up with the fun global holidays to lift your spirit and leave you smiling.
Yes, and right after that, we'll be giving you our full weather reports covering cities across the southeast and beyond, so you know what to expect before you step out. Or if you've stepped out already, it's to help you stay throughout the rest of the day.
So, relax, grab that cup of coffee, enjoy the cruise because the sunrise is here.
Yes, and now let's move over to our morning show inspiration segment. Our quote of today, which is coming from Ruth Carter Stapleton. And in her quote, she said, "Christmas is most truly Christmas when we celebrate it by giving the light of love to those who need it most." I'm going to take that quote again because this is a festive season. This is the season of Christmas, which we also know as a season of love, laughter, joy, and also a season where we exchange gifts, presents, and also a time where families come together. And now in this quote that she's saying is also saying that Christmas is most truly Christmas when we celebrate it by giving the light of love to those who need it most. Now, simply saying, what our quote is simply saying is that when Christmas is actually Christmas is when we give love or when we celebrate love to those who need it. Like now, people on the street, people who have little or less to feed on, people who are in need of help, people who are in need of that little support from you. Now, Christmas is mostly Christmas when you are able to put smiles on people's faces, when you're able to show them that they are also loved, that to show them love, to give them that little, no matter how little it is, as long as you share it with them.
Yeah, generally Christmas should be a period of sharing.
Yes.
After all, what is Christmas? We are celebrating the birth of love himself. You know, we are told in the good book that for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son,
yes.
and the begotten son is here and we are celebrating. So that's about love and sharing.
Yeah.
Though before I go further, I'm expecting that part of chicken tomorrow as well.
Okay, yes, it's true. That reminds me also. There was this time you promised me something.
Promised you what?
Don't worry, tomorrow you're going to give it to me.
If I made a promise, remind me. But
I
when I make a promise, I remember. But
Yes.
I'm expecting.
So don't forget to
I'm
share.
expecting to share
Don't
that
forget
chicken.
to
I'm
share.
expecting to share in that
What
chicken.
chicken?
That chicken that you talked about.
Okay, the one
That Christmas, the
one you're
Christmas
going to
chicken.
prepare. The Christmas.
So Christmas generally is a period for sharing.
Yes,
Yes.
it's
Share with
sharing.
everybody. You know, you share love. You share. You share belongings.
You share
share joy.
Yes.
So there are a lot of things to be shared. You know, remember the less privileged, those you are better than, remember to extend love to people. Show love, show kindness. If God has favored you, remember to favor others. That's what Christmas is all about.
Yeah.
We come together, we, unite, forget our differences, make up, forgive,
Yeah.
and then we'll marry together.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
that's why
That's what Christmas
that's why
is all
I always
about.
remember that period where we'll hustled for rice with our hands, rice served in tray, and all the children will gather, and everybody is hustling, I call it hustling because you see everybody is rushing. Then you use one meat, like Mr. Red said, use one hand to pack your meat one side,
Yes.
while you're,
So you're hustling for your own portion.
That is it.
Yes.
But finally, you see the movement everywhere. People are in a hurry. Everybody's just tomorrow,
Yes.
and it's already here.
It's already here.
Period of sharing.
Period of sharing,
And
yes,
he
and
wants-
still
because
on the
he
period
wants-
of
he
sharing.
wants to share.
Still on the period of sharing, you're going
Yeah.
to share a Christmas story with me tomorrow.
Oh, Christmas story.
Yes.
I
Since it's
have
Christmas.
plenty of
Just
them.
one,
I told
I know.
you. So if you,
Just-
no,
I
when,
just
when
need
you
one.
want me to share, just check and take the region you want from. Maybe you want the Christmas experience from northern Nigeria.
Okay.
I'll give you. You want a Christmas experience from south Nigeria. I have that.
So you
if you
pick
want
your
the one,
most.
if you want
your
the one from
most.
no wait, if you want the one from southwest Nigeria,
Okay.
I'll give you that experience. And of course, I want to have the experience here tomorrow as well.
Yes.
Because all I remember about my Christmases in eastern Nigeria is while I was tender. That's the memory, right? So, but I'll come with them. But
Yeah.
then don't ask me of the ones outside this place.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Like Ruth rightfully said, that Christmas is Christmas when we put love on the smiles of faces, or when we put smiles on the faces of people rather, and then we share love, even no matter how little that that sharing is. It's all about sharing, and that's what Christmas is all about. And also, please, while you're sharing that love to your loved ones, while you're sharing that love to people around you, please always remember that each new sunrise is a platform for us to grow. It's an opportunity for us to try something new, or simply be more present in whatever we do. And also let us know what's this Christmas. You can share your experience, or your Christmas, your special Christmas experience with us across our social media handles, across Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, all at ANEKE TV, or call our phone number 070-304-37110. And up next is our weather report.
Yes, we'll take a look at the weather reports across major cities in Southeast today.
Yes, I will be starting off with Oka. Good morning, Oka. You're waking up to a cloudy start, but don't panic. Don't pack away those shades just yet. The clouds will give way to partly sunny skies as the day warms. Temperatures rise from the low 20s to the low 30 degrees Celsius by the afternoon, with mostly sunny vibes through the day and a calm, clear night to come. So it's a beautifully hot day ahead at 22 to 33 degrees Celsius today.
Alright, good morning, Coal City. Welcome to Enugu. Hello, you will start under a blanket of mostly cloudy skies. But don't worry, by mid-morning to afternoon, sunshine breaks through and brings the heat. Expect temperatures climbing from the mid-20 degrees Celsius straight up into the mid-30 degrees Celsius. Perfect for outdoor plans today.
Yes, and in Abakaliki, you're in for a sunny, hazy and hot day, starting off mild in the mid-20 degrees Celsius. The day also quickly hits up into the low to mid-30s with steady, hazy sunshine. So it's a classic dry season warmth. It's a day for cool drinks and light shirts, and temperature stays at 24 to 35 degrees Celsius today.
Alright, good morning, Owerri. And let's move to my favorite city of Imo State. Owerri this morning begins with cloudy skies, evolving into warm weather with occasional sunshine. Keep an eye out for possible afternoon thunderstorms, typical of local weather patterns, before coming back into a mid-evening. Pack that umbrella just in case, because temperatures will range between 23 to 34 degrees Celsius today.
And in Umahia, you're waking up to cloudy but soon hazy sunny skies. So it will be another warm and dry December day with sunshine dominating the afternoon and temperatures in the low to mid 30 degrees Celsius. A great day to be out and about. Temperatures will stay at about 24 to 34 degrees Celsius today.
So, wherever you are in the southeast today and in the mood of Christmas, stay safe, stay cool, dress light. But do remember that rain or shine, we've got you covered. And this is your weather report here on Sunrise on ANEKE TV. We'll go on a short break and we'll return with more updates. The Insight with Uche Osai.
Having the political will to confront whatever is the challenges.
Igbo man wrestles with
the tortoise that had a lot of ingenuity, a lot of ideas, and the tireless.
It will take the bold mind of government in power to say, let there be electoral reform, no matter who sorts is God.
I was there. We did everything. All of us came and supported him with our last blood.
In-depth analysis, expert views, real voices, uncover the stories shaping Nigeria today. Deep dive, honest, unfiltered, only on the Insight with Uche Osai on ANEKE TV. Join us.
On ANEKE TV. Now we'll be taking our newspaper today, starting from The Nation, Punch, Vanguard, and The Guardian newspaper.
And joining us this morning to debone these issues is Mr. Res Arum, our in-house analyst. Mr. Res.
Today is the last day before Christmas.
Yeah.
So
Christmas Eve.
After today, we'll be getting ready to have our rice, chicken, and all that.
Okay.
For those who care for beer, you take your beer. I think, Deborah, I promise I'll give you a can of beer.
And somebody will walk with her head. Please, just do that after. Just do that when the station is closed for the day, please. And then with us again is Mr. Good Hope, the one and only Commissioner for Enjoyment, Sports Oracle himself. And today he's joining us on Sunrise newspaper review, where we'll get his insight. Let's see if he can bash about these issues on Nigeria as well. It's good to have you, Mr. Good.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning to you
like
too.
Mr. Resta said, I promise to give you. Now, Deborah has what?
But excuse me, excuse me.
promise.
Why is Deborah receiving all the gifts?
Deborah already has.
Okay, so you're
Yes.
what are you giving
It's
me?
like kind of water.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine this young man?
Sir,
I thought you were a good. I thought you were a good.
Christmas.
Oracle. You're giving me water.
She's actually, for the fact she's
because
giving you
the
something.
environment is...
Water?
Sir,
I'm not dieting. I'm not
Water is
dieting.
life.
Water is life.
Yes.
But this other thing you want to give him helps life.
sir, sorry, do you drive?
Do I drive?
Yes, you do. If you must drink and drive, then you have to drink water.
Simple.
I see. I'm short of words. This man is as if people planned it. Mr. Ray started with promising Deborah all the beer, and for a man like me, who equally likes the things in the can, nothing is coming, and you're telling me water.
You can put water
Don't
into
worry,
a can.
I will give you a drum of water in return. You can swim inside.
All right, you're all welcome. Not Sunrise today. Now let's move over to our newspaper, starting from The Nation headline that says EFCC files money laundering charge against Malami's son. And also on the Punch headline says NAS extends 2025 fiscal year to March. And on the Vanguard headline says Gazette Foray, NBA article seeks suspension of tax laws. And on the Guardian headline says investor fatigue, $14 billion infrastructure gap, store deep seaport renewal plan. And also on the Vanguard headline, also starting our Nation paper today, we're starting today's paper with the Nation headline that says EFCC files money laundering charge against Malami's son. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has filed fresh money laundering charges against a former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, and his son. According to the Anti-Graft Agency, the charges are linked to alleged illicit financial transactions running into billions of naira involving suspicious property acquisition and cash movements. The case is expected to test the federal government's renewed anti-corruption drive as Nigerians watch closely to see how far the prosecution will go.
All right. First of all, I think all Nigerians, should normally would celebrate the fact that yes, the nation is calling men who have served this country to account. You know, we've all posited over time that there's nothing wrong in being called to give account of your stewardship. But what is at stake here is that each time we are doing this, people have always countered that this should be, you know, done at the front page of newspapers, especially given the fact that at the end of the day, we do not see where these conventions, EFCC is securing these conventions, especially when it has to do with high-profile individuals, politically exposed individuals. In case of Malami and his son Abdulaziz, who we are told equally they are listing where he's working, Rahamaya Properties Limited, they are being charged for money laundering to the tune of 9 billion naira. Mr. Rez, yes, we should be happy as a nation that people are being called to account. But there are other school of thought who see this as a political battle where those who are not aligned with the government in power are being targeted. Remember that the former Attorney General is part of APC, but those of them in the Buhari faction that is not aligned with the current APC leadership, and many have seen this as a political vendetta or witch hunt, if you may like. So I want to ask this morning, what's your view on this whole issue?
Okay, let me even start from the fact that Malami was in APC, a top-notcher of that ruling party during the Buhari administration. But immediately Tinubu came into power, and a few months after, when the likes of El-Rufai was dropped as a minister during the ministerial screening at the Senate, the North felt, some persons in the North who are top-notchers of APC felt that the administration is beginning to probably not carry them along. And because of that, many of them feared of the APC, veered off being the real members of APC, not supporting the Ahmed Tinubu administration any longer. And since then, I think those who are veered off from the APC, all of them are being called back to give account of their stewardship during the Buhari administration. But beyond that, the Buhari administration saw to the coming of the present administration. The Buhari administration installed the present administration. By hook or crook, from whichever angle one views it, the Buhari administration was instrumental, after God, to seeing that Tinubu, became the president of this country in 2003. Therefore, but then, while Malami was in office, the issue of EFCC investigations on him reared up, which resulted in the sack of the then EFCC chairman, and they started having running battles. Malami was running battles with the then EFCC chairman, you remember? And that issue was swept under the carpet. It is not until now that the EFCC came from East Lumber, or possibly had to go back to the carpet and bring out the issues. Remember, apart from the money laundering charges, he was denied bail maybe some few weeks ago, or denied bail. So he's already facing charges, by the anti-graft agency. And presently, there's a new charge against himself and his son. And of course, at that time, the issue of his son and the acquisition of property, you know, and the question about where his son must have gotten all that money from, a young man who never worked one day in any organization, possibly became a billionaire. So it is questionable. In a nation like ours, sometime a governor in Edo State had to question where a young man was getting all the money he was throwing about. The governor of Edo State. It was in the news at that time. And that time, the EFCC questioned where the young man was getting all the money from. Of course, the allegations were that these were monies that the father, you know, allegedly siphoned, and pushed over to him. So, but like you rightly, you know, said, let the anti-graft mission be a true mission. It should not be based on vendetta. But at the same time, the moment you have gone against the law, let the law take its course.
All right, that's a very clear. But before I will revert back to you, let's get the opinion of Mr. Goodhope on this issue of corruption, charges, and the EFCC.
Okay, the most important thing is that looking at the side of the law, where you have, we have the anti-graft effect taking over. I feel, from my own perspective, this could be political, from what you've said earlier. But digressing it, when you see that the current government goes out to get someone who was part of the same current government, but who played a major role in bringing in the current government, and there could be a lot of things under this. Like Mr. Rex has said, there could be a lot of things under this. First of all, it could be political. When this person has been told what to do, or has been given an instruction on how to be, and other things you need to do, they need to do, everything needs to come together. You see that at the end of the day, it's being political, you can't take it away, because it's going to be purely political. But then, from my own point of view, I can tell you that there has never been a time in Nigeria that we have not had such things happening allegedly, because political stakeholders and people who have been in the top tiers of the government, in one time of our life or the other, we've heard that such a case has come up and such a thing has happened. And this happens a lot of times, especially in the Nigerian political system, where you have such issues concerning the anti-graft agency, EFCC, taking charge and bringing these people to book about the siphoning of money, allegedly siphoning of money and laundering of money and all those things. So what I'm seeing here is that this is applaudable. We can say it's very applaudable. But under it, there could be a political undertone, while the current government may not be in support of certain things that may have happened. So they could use this to give an alarm, a political alarm, to other people who are trying to go or overstep their boundaries, especially to the current government, and that makes a lot of not sense or a good sense. Whatever it is, I'm at the middle.
You can't be at the middle anyways, because it's time.
It makes a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense, yes. But
why I say I'm at the middle is because if it makes a lot of sense, then it's fine. If it does not make a lot of sense, because we are talking about a political issue here, not just political, but also a more a disciplinary issue, which everybody.
Whichever way you want to talk about it, the rule of law must prevail.
At the end of the day, what we are speaking about here is corruption.
Okay.
Do you understand? And when it comes to corruption, you can be on the sideline. It's either you're in for it or you're against. Do you understand? So you must take his course. But be that as it may, Mr. Rest, this morning, there seems to be a pattern here. Though, with the number of
a pattern here in the studio?
No, a pattern in Nigeria. Okay. I'm speaking to the issue now.
Okay.
Yes, there seems to be a pattern here. Now, before I speak to the conviction rate of the anti-graft agency when it comes to these highly celebrated cases, is a different thing. But why I'm saying there seems to be a pattern here, usually when you talk about the politically exposed individual in Nigeria, and they seem to be one of the wealthiest in Nigeria. Just the other day, the business mogul Aliko Dangote, made accusations, and then we've seen his role. How a public office holder should be able to afford $5 million for school fees for his child. Do you understand? And till this moment, we've not seen how he was able to amass such wealth to be able to, extract $5 million for school fees. Having said that, not quite long, just within the year, we saw when the current FCT minister was being dragged, how the son, who is just graduating from law school, who is here to practice, is able to afford the choice property they have acquired, in choicest area of Abuja. Now we are seeing the case of Malami, and his son is equally linked into this whole issue, and I'm beginning to get worried. More especially, like I did mention, where our politically exposed individual seems to be the most comfortable in Nigeria and not the entrepreneurs. Mr. Rest, I don't know if you'll be able to help me out in this area.
The court system plays a very significant role, because many people vested with public responsibilities are nepotic. When I say nepotic, they tend to amass these monies through their cronies or themselves and launder them. So, tell me, Malami's son never worked. He has billions. Wike's son. All these are allegations presently
allegedly, because they have not been proved
convicted by any court of competent jurisdiction.
Yes, that's why I said to a pattern. That's why I said to a pattern.
So, but you see, convictions, especially in anti-graft, has been a very serious issue, especially for the wealthy, for the persons you are referring to as being at the top echelon of political movement in Nigeria, especially who have held public offices. They have gotten those monies, and when the anti-graft agencies come swooping on them, convictions have been very difficult. We have seen situations where all those things ended in plea bargain. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Plea bargain in law is where you just...
Let's call it settlement.
Yes.
By the side settlement, and this person was free, dropping some of the luggage.
The court will uphold such settlement, and the person is seen free, walking about the streets. So, you see, there's a saying that the law is not meant for the rich. The law is not meant for the rich. The implementation of the law is not meant for the rich. It is meant for the poor man. For instance, if I and you were to be seen to have involved in any minutest criminal job, of course, we are seeing ourselves in prison. There's no two ways about it. But when it comes to who is who in Nigeria, overseas, anybody could go to jail. Former presidents, many people who are highly placed go to jail the moment they go against the law. But in Nigeria, it is not so. The law in Nigeria pampers the rich. When I say pampers the rich, the implementers of the law does not recognize the position of the law on the rich. They tend to, rub some kind of pancake when they are interpreting the law. And you see, some definition of the law says the law is an ass. When you say the law is an ass, it means that whichever way you push an ass to go, it goes. So the interpreters of the law using the law are like an ass. They push the law whichever way. They can bank on one thing to give verdict for. They can bank on one thing to give verdict against.
Yeah.
You can see so many of such interpretations done in political litigations all around Nigeria.
All right. Mr. Gutu, should we, despite the undertones, either political or not, shouldn't we as a people, begin to celebrate, not minding what the outcome will be, that people who are said to have touched our national till, are being called to give account. They are being questioned. The other day we saw the former governor of Anambra State, former minister of labor, being detained, being kept in a in a prison yard until he was granted bail because he has overreached his office, you understand, in terms of corruption. And currently we are seeing the former attorney general as well. So shouldn't we as a people, begin to, jollificate that people are being called to account?
Well, as a people, as the Nigeria's masses we should actually feel excited about what is happening. But if what is happening, if it's just like Mr. Rex has said, if it's just for the sake of the news, then it makes no sense. That's where I'm standing, whether political or not being political. Because we should see it from what you said, that these people who have served the public are being brought to book in retrospect to what they have done, into the ability for them to handle what they have been given, bringing them to books and to the accounts. If it's good we celebrate, it's good we see that justice is having its course, like we said, with the rule of law. But if it's just for the paper and for the news, it does not make a lot of sense. It is just a stunt, like I would say, and this stunt is not as it should be, because looking at the what happens in the foreign scenes, you see that there's no way you do this kind of a thing in other countries of the world, in other top countries of the world, that you will not be brought to book. Like we said, that at the end of the day, when someone, especially the political juggernaut, when these kind of allegations are put on them and it's found out it's true, there could be a waving of something, maybe money or whatever can go on. Of course, we've seen where this thing came to a better limelight, of course. But at the end of the day, what I think we should do is to enforce as the masses that the government themselves would carry out the implementation of what we have seen, and not just a political stunt. Let it be a real-time issue that we can solve as a state and a community of the government.
All right. Anyway, I have a lot of questions, but for time, Mr. S.
I think I even have a question.
Okay.
I think I have a question.
Okay.
At what point are we going to keep sidelining? Of course, these are just the people that we have seen. But at what point are we going to keep, peddling on the rich, people who have served the public offices and holding them in high esteem? Like Mr. Rex has said, if it's a poor, let me just use the word, a poor man that engaged himself in such a fraudulent activity, or allegedly, like normal, allegedly, even you see that jungle justice could even take its place, you see. But at what point is the court of law going to continue to peddle on the riches?
Pamper, you mean?
Pamper,
yeah.
Kind of, rub on their stomach, their big stomach, and make them feel comfortable while justice is being given. At what point are we going to continue at that level as a state that wants to grow, even in our economy and in our social justice?
All right. Perhaps we'll have other time to go into details about that. But one thing that is obvious here, that you are innocent until proven guilty. And as an innocent person, you deserve every comfort that the state can offer. Having said that, where I wanted us to, shed a little light on is on the issue of conviction rate. But not just that, I'm really concerned, the EFCC, the anti-graft agencies, will have the ICPC, will have all of them. And then they do not have the capacity or the capability to, detect these infractions while these individuals are in government. Because he cited in the foreign, outside Nigeria, for example, you will see that if somebody is involved in corruption, we will see it while the person is still serving, and they will be prosecuted. And more often you see people resigning as a result of such an allegation. Not proven, but for the sake of that allegation, you see people resign from office. And I'm asking, in our climate, don't these anti-graft agencies, don't they have the capacity to dictate when this infraction, supposed infraction, corruption is taking place? Because when you look at this person, they've left office, and then we'll bring these things up, and then you look at the conviction rate at the end of the day, just like you did say, there may be a plea bargain, and these people walk home free, go to Dubai, relax on Choice Islands, go to Cayman Island, take a yacht, feel free, and then come back again to re-strategize for other positions in future. Mr. Rez, I beg you help us here.
Well, when you talk about the ways the anti-graft agencies do their job, remember the laws are set up. The laws are set up such these agencies have the dictates on how they'll have to do the jobs. But then, for you to begin to investigate in Nigeria, somebody who is still in power is a little difficult, because the moment somebody in power gets wind of an investigation, the person will begin to do everything to placate, to undo certain things that have been done. Probably they'll begin to make claims of errors and all that. So the anti-graft agency actually follows it. It's not as if they don't know or they don't find out. They do, but they follow it to a logical conclusion, so that you won't come out to say, no, we are still working on a particular thing, we did something and that is why we had mistake on this, we are going to, we are going to redo it, we are going to make it happen better. While in office, such claims could make the anti-graft agency to now sit back and see you redo it. So sometimes just to watch you people to conclude, so that it would have been done. And you find out that those things done are done while those people are in office. And when they leave office, they cannot undo it. They cannot give excuses. And that is from where the anti-graft agency gets to finalize their investigation. It is based on such investigation, and you do such investigation that will enable conviction. You see, you don't just say there's an allegation against somebody, and that person, or even during the media trials where you come to the media and say, we allege that he did this, did that, you don't have enough evidence to land such person into jail, through a court conviction. So the court is not privy to what happened until you bring them such cases and begin to tell them what happened. Then you have to, in criminal justice, you prove beyond all reasonable doubt. In the moment there are doubts in criminal justice, the accused person goes free. So that's why it's often said, or is always said, that criminal justice leans on the side of the accused person. The accused person is benefiting. It has a lot of benefit. The moment you have doubts in convincing the court that this person
He that alleges must prove.
Yes. So if you do not do that, so also the EFCC are being careful, and the other anti-graft agency, ICPC, and the rest of them are being careful to ensure that the moment they take any matter to court, they'll be able to do the conviction, because it will cast aspersion on their job, on what they are doing, if they do not. But Nigeria is Nigeria. We have the inherent factors in it.
I'll go away with Nigeria is Nigeria. It embodies a lot of things. And baby, over to you.
All right, thank you very much. Now let's take our next paper coming from the Guardian headline. You can see the story at the left side of the Guardian newspaper that says, marking the opposition cites Wike factor, say authoritarian drift threatens 2027 polls. Opposition figures in Oyo State say internal resistance to Governor Seyi Makinde's political influence is growing, pointing to what they describe as the Wike factor, strong political control and centralized power. They warn that an authoritarian drift within major political blocs could undermine internal democracy and pose risks to credible elections ahead of the 2027 general polls.
First of all, I would say that I think Makinde, if you saw the press conference that he called, I would say that he learned very well from Wike, how to get the media to sit under the tree and then, begin to talk about issues. But while I look into the questions, the issues that he raised, I have become a little bit conversant with the keyword, according to him, that what caused the friction between, he was a member of G5, they've all, jollied together throughout the election campaigns in 2023 till this period. And for him, he said he was during a meeting with Mr. President, where the chief of staff was present and one other person with Wike, and Wike, promised unprompted, promised to hold the PDP down for Mr. President. That was where, the road started to lead to different direction. And having tried to get Mr. Wike to ask questions on how and why, and how he wants to hold the PDP down for Mr. President, and from his investigation, that Mr. President didn't ask Wike to hold down the PDP for him, and he has continued to speak to the threat of a one-party state being a threat to democracy and Nigeria. But before I let you in on this issue, I want us to take a moment, because that word, I want to research on the word hold down. What does it really mean? And upon interrogation, we were told that one, when you talk about holding something down, it is to physically restrain or keep something or someone in place. Then secondly, to keep something at a low level, talk about prices, costs, noise. Then the third one, to successfully keep or maintain, let's say, a job by holding a job down. Then four, to oppress, limit someone's freedom or power. And then when you look at this whole explanation, it really means that Wike, for him, though he has publicly said that, wants to hold PDP down for Mr. President, and one of such is to make sure that there is no, for example, a presidential candidate that would challenge Mr. President from the PDP as a political party, and doing whatever necessary it means to keep PDP down. But this morning, his ally, Makinde, has chosen a different path. And when even interrogated about the 2027 ambition, he has told us, yes, from his experience as a two-term governor, he is eminently qualified to seek to occupy that exalted seat. That he himself is even more qualified than Wike in 2023, when he was wanting to, get the ticket of the PDP to contest for such exalted position. The G5, Mr. S, what are we seeing? Is there still a future for the PDP? And do you think that this is a battle that Nigerians should be burdened with, especially where Makinde is now saying that in all could be a threat to democracy, because we are seeing people are still defecting?
See, when Wike was taking over the PDP, many of the members of PDP, even the founding members, they were all moping at the situation like Avengers struck by a terror force. They were all partying, you know, making themselves happy, not knowing where Nyesom Wike was going. Nyesom Wike, after taking PDP, he lost the presidential bid. When he lost the presidential bid, he started on a new mission to ensure that the PDP never works again. As the topmost opposition party in Nigeria, Wike worked against that the presidential candidate, especially when Atiku Abubakar did not pick Wike as his running mate during that election. He rather took the then governor of Delta State. Wike became angry and of course started his mission. When eventually Ahmed Bola Tinubu got wind of that, you know, politicians, of course he went to Wike, sent some mouth-watering proposals, help us, and you have whatever you want to have. And of course, Wike chose the ministerial work he's doing presently and continued. So, he was in charge, or he has been in charge of PDP until when, even with Shey Makinde, until when you eventually said the gap started widening between Wike and some of his allies. But remember, it was just Shey Makinde himself. Out of the G5, the others, many of them are still with Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We had a governor from the southeast here. We have a former governor from the west.
You have two from the southeast.
Okay, two governors
Yes.
from the southeast. Okay.
Who are now ambassador nominees.
And you know, they're now being, though they have, okay, they have, because just recently, many of them, like here, the former governor of Enugu State crossed over to the APC,
Yes.
alongside the present governor. So they have all made it to APC, and they're now part of APC. But in the case of Wike, Wike still claims to be a member of PDP, though he works for the ruling party, APC. So, Wike, like Shey Makinde claimed, is of course doing a hatchet job for the ruling party to ensure that that credible opposition that will come from that party will no longer come during the coming election. And that's why he's been there. He's not even ready to cross carpet to another political party. He has insisted to be there, and presently ANEKE has refused to, you know, recognize the Turaki admin, which was the outcome of the Turaki leadership of PDP, the outcome of the November national conference of the party, where they sacked Wike and others for anti-party activities. Yet, the matter is now before the court. And who knows if the courts are going to be used in these political crises again. If the courts are going to dispassionately, you know, do the rulings the way they ought to be. and so on and so forth. And if the matter will be alive in the court until the political parties are due to have their nominations and all that, so that at the end of the day, if PDP fails to do the nominations within the specific time provided by the Electoral Act, the Electoral Law, it means they do not have candidates for the 2027 elections and maybe 27 or 26 elections. So these are the gimmicks. They are politicking. They are politicking. One may say, yes, according to Makinde, that there was no time Tinubu asked Wike to hold down PDP. But possibly because Wike is presently serving Mr. President. And remember that Wike has an eye to the vice presidency, because after the Tinubu administration, if he wins for a second term, in principle, you know, the rotation is in principle.
Yes.
In principle, the rotation will go to the north, and the APC eventually will pick a candidate from the north.
Okay.
And Wike is positioning by then to possibly make it to the vice presidency, so that whenever it's coming down again, he will become president. And these are all political calculations. So, but in every leadership, there are things that nature does, you know, to make such leadership to come to be. So until then, they said, sometimes they say, man proposes and nature, you know, whichever way you want to say it.
Proposes.
I believe in God. God does the other way. So, which means that they are doing these calculations to suit their personal interests. Even Makinde, who wants to be president, is also about his ambition. So the PDP, when they were in power, they boasted they were going to rule for a good number of years, I think well over 50 years, rule the country. But sooner than later, they left office. They lost the election to APC. So APC is now on their business, and very soon they will begin to possibly come out with serious outbursts to tell people that they are now super APC. But who knows what will happen tomorrow. Personalities are coming. Nigerian people are beginning to have a new consciousness. And this new consciousness about the Nigerian people may change the entire situation. So we are hopeful that Nigeria will not remain in these political doldrums as we go on. That someday the concept of evolution will come to play in Nigeria, so that we will evolve into a better state. Both the three arms of government, the judiciary, will become independent and say things the way it is.
The utopian state.
Yes.
All right, that's quite apt, and you know, I've listened to a lot of analysis on this issue. You know, whichever way, whichever angle you come from, either from the Nweke axis or from the current Makinde position, they all say that both of them and all of them are holding down the fort for Tinubu come 2027, because give or take, while the battle is on, the PDP as at today is no longer the PDP of yesterday, and no longer has that capacity or capability as at this moment to launch an onslaught politically against the sitting APC government. You know, giving more credence to why a lot of Nigerians are bothered if Nigeria is tilting towards a one political state. I wish we'll have more time, you know, to begin to, you know, extricate and extract and unwind and untwine, the ropes where they are locked together on these issues. But I will hand over to Deborah at this moment.
All right, thank you very much. We've all had the analysis coming from Mr. Rex today, and that is all for today's newspaper review on Sunrise and ANEKE TV. Please do not forget that you can grab any of your physical copies from any of your favorite vendor or catch the e-paper online for more broader information. And now let's go to our sports updates.
All right, the Oracle himself, the sports Oracle. Here we are.
All right, thank you very much for having me. Like I said all the time, you guys saw what happened with the national, with our national team in Nigeria yesterday, where we. My predictions were actually right.
Yes, you are the oracle. You are the oracle because you predicted, and of course it so happened.
Yes,
it was even the scores.
The scores, yes. We'll give you kudos for that. Yes. And do you see that he's alive? Once we get into his shrine, he becomes alive. As
I get to expect.
As an oracle, I wonder who is his chief priest. But congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
That prediction was on
the
point.
Was, from what we saw yesterday match, Nigeria are playing against Tanzania. The match started and Nigeria had to, register the first goal by Samuel Ajayi, and the Tanzanians replied. They gave their honest reply, and that was another goal. Then the second time, trust the man Ademola Lukman, who scored from a almost outside the box where he shot. He gave a long shot and it was a goal. Now looking at that match, I can drag it further to the man I told you people that had placed a bet on the match of Tanzania with Nigeria. He won the bet. Should I mention his name? I didn't place any bet, but
you benefited from the bet.
No. I'm excited because we won. As an oracle, we won. And let me ask Ms. Tuche, do you think Nigeria is going to repair your heart right now from the point of what do you think about Nigeria from the match, from the position of our match in AFCON?
You don't have to drag me. You don't have to drag me into this conversation. Can't you see that when you're talking about Nigeria, I am calm. My celebration starts and end with your prediction for that match being accurate. And for me that is it. But when you want to drag my fragile heart, and if he's still there, do you understand? He's still very fragile into the Nigerian game. I beg your pardon.
But it was a good game for Nigeria. That's all I was saying.
I know. I don't watch Nigeria.
Somebody did the betting.
Yes.
Of course, you even mentioned the person during the other program, and
he won 36 million naira from the naira. It's naira he won, but he placed the money in bet, $25,000.
Okay.
And that's Davido.
Yes.
So Davido is 36 million naira richer based on the outcome of Nigeria's match.
They made him proud.
But let's put a caveat as well. When you people lose, do well to equally let us know. Now you're celebrating 36 million.
Well, that's all I can say, because from your own point of view, we are heartbroken.
No, you're doing well. You understand? But for me, it's the fundamentals. Irrespective of the joy that we won that match, I know that the fundamentals are not right. That's the point for me. So, irrespective of the sources that will come from the AFCON, you say, I know that the fundamentals are right. You may celebrate today, but if you do not get those footballing fundamentals right, you will weep tomorrow. And I, for one, I'm tired of weeping.
We are patriotic.
We are patriotic.
I am as well. In fact, we are more patriotic by calling out the ills in the system so that more people will not be heartbroken like me. I've had to suffer because of Nigeria, because of these super egos you're talking about. You understand? So let us get the fundamentals right. It doesn't mean I'm unpatriotic.
Mr.
Yes.
Osai, the spirit of sportsmanship must have to prevail in you and me. When you sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Nobody wins all the time. Nobody loses.
Mr. Rest, granted, nobody wins all the time. But what we are saying here is fundamental. The point is that we're not sore losers because we're heartbroken. Shows the depth of our love for the sport, for the game, and for the country. But But what we are saying is situation. For example, how did you get to AFCON? How do you, every time, you continue to permutate if Nigeria would qualify by other factors, not the football, what happens in the football pitch? That's what we're talking about here.
The Nigerian factor plays that too.
But that shouldn't be the case. That shouldn't be the case. So, but these are the fundamentals we're talking about.
But I think what really influenced this match, the other day, the presidency rewarded, fulfilled their promises on the team that were runner-up for the AFCON 2023, where they were giving lands and houses and those things. So the presidency, even our country as a nation, and the people who are ruling us are interested to see that these guys perform at the top of their best. So looking at this, you will see that there too, they did that intentionally so that they would not have an excuse. And don't you think psychologically this would have affected?
Yes, but I have a question. I have a question for you. Yes, that's speaking to motivation. But I want to ask you, Sports Oracle, is motivation the problem with Nigeria?
Well, the problem with Nigeria is not just motivation, but because it's also a technical issue. Yes, when I say it's more technical, it is just a technical issue.
So granted that patriotic people like us are still right.
No. It's not that you are just right because you feel that the problem is from one side.
No, we feel that there are fundamental problems.
The problems, for me, the fundamental problem of Nigeria as a sports nation is from the local leagues. That's what
you see. We are beginning to cover multiple issues.
Yes,
we've moved from motivation. We've started talking about the Nigerian league, which I did mention sometime. Yes, right. Yes. But the point here is, congratulations. You won.
Congratulations.
You won. I enjoy it.
Right.
You understand? But some of us don't want to be dragged into that again, because we know that tomorrow it could happen again. This is someone who almost fell from 4-story building because Nigeria lost a match that you want to drag into this thing. Get the fundamentals right, and we'll back you.
Please, Mr. Sai,
yes,
allow your sentiment in all this. Allow your sentiment to stay on its own. Don't bring it to our morning program.
But what do we do at the shrine? What do we do at the shrine? What do we do at the shrine? We are at the shrine. You bring your problems to the shrine, and we are in front of the oracle this morning. So I have to equally say that. But congratulations,
Nigeria.
Right.
And that's where because of this. We'll see more when we go into the major sports news. I'm going to bring more of this to your table and what has been happening over the days since AFCON started, and also the things that have happened just in the Premier League and also in other leagues.
All right. Yes. All right. And then taking you this moment to the Nigerian stock market update for yesterday. The Nigerian Stock Exchange continued its bullish run yesterday, Tuesday, December 23, 2025, with the All-Share Index ASI soaring to an all-time high. The market closed higher by 0.59%, driven by year-end portfolio rebalancing and sustained interest in mid to large cap stocks. The market summary, the All-Share Index as of yesterday, closed at 153,354.14 points, making an upward movement from to 152,459.07%. The market capitalization as of yesterday stood at 97.77 trillion naira, meaning that the market gained over 579 billion naira. And then by volume of shares traded, we saw it leaping to 677.4 million shares that were traded in deals totaling around 27,589 deals. The top 5 gainers for yesterday were led by aluminium extraction, which is traded as Alex, which closed the market yesterday at 14 naira 90 kobo, making a plus 9.96%. They are followed by Austin Lars and Company, closing the market yesterday at 2 naira 91 kobo, which equally made a positive plus 9.81%. Let's take you to the losers table for want of time. At the losers table, they were led by Royal Exchange closed the market yesterday at 1 naira 80 kobo, making a negative minus 7.22% adjustment. The following on the table of losers is Champion Brewery, which Champion Breweries closed the market yesterday at 15 naira 65 kobo, making a negative minus 6.57 adjustment. The market stocks, the volumes yesterday were led by VFD Group, which traded 192.0 million units, followed by GT Company is the owners of GT Bank and Companies, which traded at 63.5 million units of shares, followed by Access Holding with deals totaling 49.8 million units of shares traded. And that is it for the stock market update for yesterday. Be informed that the market is open and tradings are going on, but before you make any investment in the financial sector due to the volatility, please do well to consult a certified financial expert due to the volatility of the market. And that is it now for the stock market update, and I hand you over to Deborah.
All right, thank you very much for that. And that is all for today on Sunrise on ANEKE TV. Please do not forget that you can follow us across our social media platforms, across Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, all at ANEKE TV. Or you call our phone number 070-3043-7110. It's always a pleasure having you on our show every morning. I am Deborah Wakoba, and please, compliments of the season.
All right, and Mr. Resarum, can I just wish you happy Christmas ahead of time?
I take that, and as well wish very many others across the world a Merry Christmas, and of course
A happy New Year.
All right, and
Happy New Year
yes,
coming in the 1st of January 2026.
and
Yeah.
if I may add, thank you for the balancing and in-depth insight that you bring to Sunrise newspaper reviews every morning, and to you, the sports oracle, Mr. Good Hope. Thank you for being with us always on Sunrise.
Thank you very
Yes,
much.
and I am Uche Osai. Remember, you're not here to be average. Be unique. Keep watching ANEKE TV to come your way same time tomorrow. Of course, it's Christmas, and we'll be here with you to enjoy, jollificate on the Christmas celebration. Bye-bye.